Okay, he did speak about during the interview that he did with yourself about the campaign that he was working with, which is the Truth About Drugs campaign, which is sponsored by the Church of Scientology, but it is a separate matter.
You know, and I know, Sabrina, and Christian knows, he did not come on as a representative, as a Scientologist, or a representative about the truth about drugs, and that can be proven.
That's but true. In any case, as a representative.
Okay, he didn't.
That's true, absolutely.
All right. Okay, so why then? Well, explain to us how a video appeared at a conference in Florida of an interview.
Like I was saying there, the video was a reenactment. And what we do is the Truth About Drugs campaign is a campaign that's there to educate mainly kids about drugs. And what we have done in the past year in Ireland is we've got out 100,000 of these little booklets that tell the truth about drugs.
Well, what do you mean a reenactment? So you falsely created a studio situation, is that right? A studio which doesn't exist, not that we know of anyway.
Well, it did actually exist because that interview
But it's not the Ocean FM studio, Sabrina.
No, it's not. It was a reenactment, and the people that were actually at the event are aware that it was a reenactment.
No, they are not aware. The caption came up, as you well know, and it said Ocean FM Studio. That was the caption for tens of thousands of people to see. That interview did not take place in the Ocean FM Studio, and the person in the video is not an employee of Ocean FM. Is that correct?
That's correct. It was a reenactment.
So you lied.
No, a reenactment isn't a lie, actually. It was a reenactment. You lied.
It was clearly identified as an Ocean FM studio. It was clearly marked as an Ocean FM interview. Wrong on both counts, so you lied.
Okay, well, that would be your viewpoint. You're entitled to have that. It was a reenactment of the campaign.
But it's a yes or no. Did you lie about it, or did you not lie about it?
No, we didn't lie about it.
Well, how then is it perceived as an Ocean FM interview when it didn't happen?
The interview that my brother did with Ocean FM actually did occur. All we did
Sabrina,
was a reenactment.
we have interviewed, I would say, about 5 people on the programme already this morning. We've interviewed dozens of people already this week. Any one of them can come back 6 months later and say, aha, the reason I was on was because I was a Scientologist. Didn't tell you that at the time, but I was a Scientologist, and I'm using it for promotional material.
Okay, the promotional material isn't about Scientology. It's to promote a campaign, which is the Truth About Drugs. Now, for example, if you have the Red Cross on and you're covering a piece that they've been doing, say, in Afghanistan, the fact that they're supported by the Catholic Church isn't really taken into it. You're just looking at what they're doing. They're doing a good thing for society, which is what I'm doing. I'm a volunteer. I volunteer my time. I have personally gotten out thousands of booklets, as has my brother. We educate people. We get a great response in the Truth About Drugs campaign. We're saving lives. So when we look at the big picture here, we actually are saving lives.
Before I ask you about Scientology, can you not just come on and admit you made a mistake? You've done something which was essentially a lie, if not fraud, and you apologise for it, and you shouldn't have done it.
What I would definitely like to apologise is we should have gotten the permission to say that we were doing a reenactment of an interview that did take place. That's absolutely right.
And you can't understand how people would have it, apart from us here in Ocean FM, and this is all over social media, as you know, you can't understand how anyone would have a problem with this.
Would have a problem with what exactly?
With a reenactment, as you call it.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody in studio with me doing a one-on-one interview about Scientology, full stop. So how can it be a reenactment?
But if you actually watch the clip on the event, it is not about Scientology, it's about a Truth About Drugs campaign.
Which is sponsored by Scientology, correct?
Absolutely,
or not correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you don't see anything wrong with that, with falsifying a situation for an interview?
It actually is not falsifying a situation.
Yes, it is.
What somebody's religion wouldn't even come into when you're interviewing somebody about volunteer work.
How could it not be falsifying a situation? Was that studio that video was filmed in, is it an Ocean FM studio, yes or no?
That's not an Ocean FM studio.
It's not an Ocean FM studio. Is the presenter in that video clip, is that a presenter employed by Ocean FM, yes or no?
No, he's not.
Okay, so you falsified it?
No, it is a reenactment. It isn't a falsification because the interview actually did take place. The interview was done about the Truth About Drugs campaign, which is a campaign that myself and my brother, who was also in the DVD, we have been running this campaign, and Ocean FM were very supportive of my brother, who actually
you're not answering the question at all. But in any case, apart from our own situation, which we kind of find a bit amusing more so than anything else, we're not terribly put out about it. But we just find it amazing that we've been dragged into all this, and we're not the only media outlet to be dragged into it. But I mean, we had Pete on a minute ago who pointed out this to us, and he says this is symptomatic of the way Scientology works. It's something which is based on lies and mistruths. And what has happened here is not going to help your situation. Would you agree?
Yeah, I can see your viewpoint on that. Absolutely.
So why did you do it? I mean, if you're trying to portray a positive image, this is going to damage people's views of Scientology in Ireland.
No, I understand that. And like you said, this isn't the end of the world. We have got a lot more important things to be looking at, just like the amount of people that are taking drugs out there. What I completely do is the Truth About Drugs campaign. I do it because when I was 13, I started to take drugs myself. When my brother was 14, he started to take drugs. As you know, he got stabbed 17 times in the head. He pulled out of that. He changed his life. I've come off drugs. He's come off drugs. All I want to do is help people with the Truth About Drugs campaign. The Scientology organisation is kind enough to pay for the Truth About Drugs campaign so we can get out the booklets. And the booklets are saving lives. They're educating kids so that they can make decisions that are unlike my decision when I was 13 and what I had to do. So that's the reason why I do it.
It's ironic you would even call it the truth about drugs, because it's about the only thing you're telling the truth about, because you're not certainly telling us the truth this morning about how this, inverted commas, reenactment took place. And why? I mean, what attracts you to the whole Scientology movement, Sabrina?
Well, I'll tell you just on what you're bringing up before, the truth about drugs. Why it is called the truth about drugs is that there's so much false information about drugs out there that kids really don't know what they're getting involved in. You know, some people think that there's some forms of ecstasy that are safe. If you use a reputable dealer, then that's okay to do that. But whenever they find out the truth about drugs, then they can make a decision for themselves. So the little booklets, just to go back to those again, they actually just give kids the truth so that they can make up their own minds rather than preach to them.
Right, okay. How long have you been a Scientologist, Sabrina?
12 years.
And any doubts at all, as Pete had? Pete was a Scientologist for 7 years, and he said he eventually found out what they stood for and he didn't like it. Have you had any doubts at all in relation to your membership of the religion?
No, I've never had any doubts. I mean, I've been a Scientologist for 12 years. I find it's helped me. It's really changed my life. Pete, the Englishman who spoke there, he's entitled to have his opinion, just like everybody can have their opinion of how they feel about things. I have found it remarkable in how I've been able to handle some things that have happened to me in the past, how I've been able to get through coming off drugs. I've seen my brother been able to do the same thing. I've seen it help lots of different people in many facets of life, so I would never have any doubts about it now.
Okay. Now that you know what happened and our involvement in it, which wasn't with our goodwill or permission, will you get on to your ruling body and explain what happened and get them to apologise maybe, or get them to clarify to the people that we had no participation in this whatsoever, willing participation?
Yeah, I can pass on that message if you like.
Okay. And would you apologise for misleading people? I mean, it's no big deal really for us, but there are some people who would possibly be swayed by the fact that they saw a video of Ocean FM interviewing a Scientologist, and you're using that in your promotional material to spread the word as it round. Would you apologise to those people who maybe...
what I would like to say now, I would apologise for it. Doesn't say clearly that it is a reenactment, so that is definitely something that I need to clarify the next time I'm doing it.
But you need to clarify more than that, because it was a reenactment of something which never took place, so it's worse than that.
Well, the actual video, if you look at it, it just says a drugs campaigner speaking on Ocean FM, which she was speaking on Ocean FM.
Look, Sabrina, we could be here all day. I would suggest you go back, look at that video again, listen to the voiceover, look at the context in which it's put, and you'll soon realise that it is a fraud, it's lies, and you're being totally dishonest, and there's no other way of putting it.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us this morning. That's Sabrina there, who is a Scientologist. A lot of reaction to that. It's Sabrina Shortt from Donegal, incidentally, joining us there. It's 19 minutes to 11. Back in a moment. Okay, welcome back. Right, we haven't got around to comments because we've been so busy, Margaret. Right, some of the comments.
Yeah, this listener says that you need to be more aware of who you give airtime to. Many people have hidden agendas as well, you know. This listener, she's talking about truth. What about the lies? They made up shop names in the video. The lies about all the leaflets they constantly hand out. The Dublin office of the Church of Scientology has a tiny presence, is in massive debt and is nowhere near as organised with as many volunteers as the video shows. And this is from Niall, who says he's listening in Dublin. I don't care who they are, this caller says. I have a 17-year-old on drugs, and if they can help, what's the big deal? That lady would make an excellent politician. That's Sabrina. She stood firm until she got to preach her spake. This listener, the Church of Scientology is worth multi-mega millions. They can well afford a lawsuit, this caller says. The politicians that are interviewed appear to have the same shyness of sharing their airways with listeners who may ask awkward questions as your Scientologist. Get that lady off the air. She is full of SH1T. This listener, one religion that isn't all... name one religion that isn't all about money, this caller suggests. Is there any full stop in that sentence by Scientology speaker on the video? Scientology Ocean should be flattered at the profile you're getting from it. And then they ask, is Francie a Scientologist? So,
I think Francie will have lots to say in this later, because he was as equally as enamoured by the story as we were yesterday. But he's not a Scientologist, no.
No. And then we have a number of people contacting us and saying the Scientology is nothing but brainwashing young people, and they are, as far as this listener concerned, nothing but a cult. This caller says Scientology is nothing but a cult, but if they help someone get off drugs, that's a good thing. And another listener saying the Scientology is a cult.
Okay, and maybe we'll have a proper debate on Scientology, the next week or two. We'll see if we can organise something. Just looking at the tweets, and Niall O'Keefe, there's lots of people listening online from outside the area. Niall O'Keefe says, I'm just listening to the Scientology debate on Ocean FM Ireland, which started after the death notices and returns after Radio Bingo. Local radio, he says.
Okay, and it's actually been clarified to us where that video was made, and it was made in the studio in Donegal. Not our studio, but we'll say it was made in a studio in North Donegal, and I'm told that the studio is beside our neighbouring radio station, local radio station, Highland Radio.
Okay, but nothing to do with them whatsoever.
Absolutely nothing to do with Highland Radio, but seemingly there's a studio there, and that the video was made in there, and we're given the names of the two guys who took part in the video as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
Just an amazing story.
We have all our information here.